Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Luanna Lindsey. I am the small business leader for Wells Fargo, and I'm looking forward to spending some time with all of you today. This is a great opportunity to connect. I know it's not what we normally like to do. We like to meet in person, have that interaction, but as we're learning the new normal with the pandemic, I think this is a great way for us to get to share some thoughts, some ideas, share some really valuable information that may be beneficial to you as a small business owner, and get an update. So on today's agenda, what we have small business index highlights. We also have key indicators, payment trends, as well as key business owners' challenges. What we're hearing back from our clients is so critical at this time, and be able to have a forum to share what some people are sharing with us is great information for you. It may apply, it may not, but hopefully it will give you an added insight to where we are with our small business owners and what they're feeling and experiencing in these times. Where we get our small business index highlights is we do a survey every quarter with the Gallup organization. And this, we survey different clients, we ask them different questions, and it really gives us the insight on what customers are feeling so that we can share that with all of you. So, as you see in the chart, I'm going to explain it a little bit. It actually goes back to 2007 all the way up to fourth quarter of 2020. And you can see by following the lines, the first one is the orange line. You can see where we are. This line represents overall optimism. So while the overall index score rose 12 points in optimism in fourth quarter, we know it's still only about half, 50% of where the optimism was in 2019. So good news, but of course it's not where we were in 2019, which was really quite a record-breaking year, I think, for most of our small business owners. Now the next line is I guess you'd call it a purple line. That is where our small business owners are feeling in their present situation. So regarding optimism in the present situation, we did see some sharp declines again in Q2 and Q3, and it rose slightly in Q4, which is good news. And then the blue line, that indicates future expectations. What do our customers, our business owners feel? How are they sharing their anxiety or positivity of the future? So with that, it continued to rise in Q4, which is great news. But as you see the chart, it really indicates that there is a continued resilience from our business owners, but that the optimism level remains half of what it was in 2019. So business owners are indicating that they recognize the long road ahead of us. So what are the challenges for small business owners? Let's hear what they're telling us. So some of the challenges that they're telling us is that loss of business. They're either closing or what has the coronavirus, how has that impacted their business? So I'll give you an example that we have heard. That's really with our doctors, medical, dentists. Some of them had been severely impacted by the coronavirus. We have doctors that said, I may retire in 2 or 3 years. But with the current environment, they've said, you know what, this is too much. I'm close to retirement. I'm just going to close up my shop. I maybe don't want to go through all of the safety measures and the different things that they'll need to keep their practice up and vibrant in these challenging times. So, interestingly enough, we have a lot of doctors, dentists that work for other senior doctors that are now looking to go out on their own and finding ways to become their own small business owners. So kind of the ones that are finding it not as interesting to stay in business right now, and then it has opened up a lot of opportunities. So we do see that through this pandemic, while we know that overall it's made a significant impact in a lot of us, our small businesses, we actually have clients out there that maybe were manufacturing safety masks. Maybe they are in the hand sanitizer business. So there is opportunity out there. And what's interesting is seeing how businesses are adjusting to the new normal, finding different ways. We do know the entrepreneurial spirit is so strong amongst our small business owners. So that's the good news. Some of the things that we have also noticed is just the financial stability with cash flow. Interestingly enough, a lot of our small business owners, they have more money now than they've ever had. Why has that been? Well, we had a nice stimulus, CARES Act, the PPP. I know Wells Fargo, for an example, we did about 194,000 PPP loans, helping our small businesses get the resources that they needed. With that, 56,000 of those loans were done here in Greater California, which is nice to know. Of course, we have such a vibrant business community in California. And the really good news is that in the 194,000 PPP loans that we did, Wells Fargo had 78% of all the loans that they did, which was significant, were under 50,000, helping business owners just like you are. So it was really going into what I consider the right hands to really help us get through this really challenging time. So other concerns are, they said taxes were a concern of about 5%. Advancement in technology, as we've discussed today, and the cost of technology and the implementation is about 5%. Government overall in general, about 4%, and then government regulation about 4%. Because as we've seen, we've had different requirements put on our restaurateurs and retail shops as well. So this really has been insightful and helpful to understand where our small business owners are coming from. So what have been some of the key indicators? So our fourth quarter survey says that the journey to economic recovery for small businesses would not be a short one. That is an indicator that we are seeing more and more. I think some of us hoped it was a month, maybe 2 months. I know me, myself, I thought, this will be over in a couple of months. Well, now that we're long into that and without a real recovery or opening of business, again, we are seeing that is going to take a lot of time. About half, 46% of our respondents continue to report decreases in revenue over the past 12 months. So I think that's important to know. And if you're one of those clients or those small business owners, know you're in with good company. It is a challenging time. The number of owners that felt the economy was growing climbed 9 points to 29%, but 33% of our clients still maintained it was continuing to slow, while a combined 38% said it was in a recession. They felt it was in a recession or a depression. When asked about the timeline for the economy to recover, 28% said it would not come until the second half of 2021. Well, over 1/3 said they did not anticipate a recovery in 2021. So I think we've all gotten a reality check on how fast and how it's going to impact our small business owners. Over half, about 57%, also said the recovery of businesses like theirs from the impacts of COVID-19 would take until the second half of 2021 and beyond. So some details that they gave us and how they were feeling and what their anticipation of next year was, in setting really good realistic goals on how to continue to stay in business and then again continue to increase and build on a recovery plan. All right, so they did ask them, how do you feel about when you would be back to recover from pre-pandemic levels? Revenues up to about 35% or more, about 26% of our clients said that. So We know it's not a fast recovery, but it's a slow and steady recovery. So let's talk about payment trends. And as we said, we've all learned how we're doing business differently in this new normal, this pandemic. I think one of the things that was most prevalent is, how do our small business owners accept payment? How are they getting paid? What does their business look like? If you were in the restaurant business, are you doing now more delivery, more takeout? And it really had a way to focus in on what does that look like. So in fourth quarter, our survey also found that payment methods among small business owners, sharing their insights and trend, that has dramatically changed. While the pandemic has led to some shifts in merchant payment offerings and customers' buying behaviors, the preferred method of payments continues to be cash and checks. But so many of our business owners now, the survey said about 25% of owners have said they've stopped accepting or reducing their acceptance of cash or checks. And that's, for good reason, keeping their employees safe, keeping their customers safe. So I'm sure some of you have walked into your local merchant there to pick up an order, and they have only allowed merchant card payment. I do have a fabulous success story, and this is kind of how we're all adapting and changing to this current environment. We had a business owner that called us frantically, a restaurant called us frantically when they were shut down here in California. And I have to say, with technology, with different ways to apply our services, we were able to get that business owner with an application in for a merchant payment processing. We were able to get them credit approved, the machinery, and up and running within 24 hours. Now, I can tell you, in the past, that would not have happened, but it's all of us coming together, helping, sharing, finding ways to think out of the box, and what can we do to help one another, us as a financial institution. And then I'm sure you're sharing many success stories within your business segment with other local vendors or business owners. So some good positive things are coming out of this pandemic. So I think we're all going to learn to be better innovators. Maybe sense of urgency and delivery, I think, is things that have really come out of this pandemic. All right. The 16% of our clients who indicated that their customers would prefer more payment options. The leader of these options was payment via phone and with a debit or credit card, which I think is interesting as well. So we will have more details, more strategies, more simplified ways. People are learning to use the internet and our digital services much more than we ever had in the past. So continue to stay, I guess, in a learning mode. Again, for some of us with a little gray around the temples, it's a little bit more challenging, but guess what? We can do it. We're in this together, and I've got a few youngsters on my team that are always there willing to help me and show me ways to use the technology that we have going forward. All right, so one thing we do know is that our owners remain resilient, and while COVID-19 continues to really weigh on our small businesses, owners are focused on staying positive and continuing to make thoughtful decisions. I think that's one of the things that has come out, is the thoughtful decisions, really looking at things, really analyzing their business plans. What's their next strategy going to be? Maybe what's their next product or service that they're going to offer? Is it changed slightly? 69% of our business owners rated their company's current financial situation as good or somewhat good. I think that's great news to hear. The measure lifted to 73% when asked from 12 months from now, that they're even anticipating more continued growth. So that's good news to hear. And it just sparks that optimism that is always so prevalent within our small business owners. Indicators showing that a deliberate approach to weathering the storm in 2020 include only 23% of owners acknowledging investing in their business this year, and only 13% reported adding employees. So we know that they are being very thoughtful in how we're going about business, how they're spending their resources, and looking at, like I said, ways to continue to thrive or at least survive during this pandemic. So some really good information there. For the next 12 months, business owners hope to increase those numbers with 30% investing in their businesses and 25% of them adding new staff. So again, there's some that are holding back, and there's some that are flourishing and able to bring on more employees and continue developing and innovating their business. Owners do seem to be acknowledging that the challenge of COVID-19 continues to bring their business, in particular with the resurgence in the cases across the country. So while I think when we get hopeful, there is times when we have to take a step back, because we do see quite the roller coaster ride with the resurgence. Hopefully with the new vaccinations out or coming soon, maybe we will get a little leveling off in this, and people will continue to gain confidence and be more secure with their small business. One thing that I think has just continued to shine and give me such inspiration is the entrepreneurial spirit that defines a small business owner, and that is to all of you. It almost doesn't deflect them from their goals and their desire to be a small business owner. They reinvent themselves. They continue to find ways to learn and adapt. And in a challenging economic environment, they understand this is a great time, maybe for opportunity and continued growth and ways to continue to learn and grow and develop in their with their small business, and using all the resources and the connections that we have to help our small business owners. So I can really say my hat's off to all of you small business owners. What an amazing job you've done through this challenging time, continuing to support our communities, your customers, your employees. You really are the heart of America, and you really deserve such a great congratulations and really a heartfelt thank you for all that you do on a daily basis and all that you provide to our economy. And just well done is all I can say. And it has been a pleasure to talk with you today. I hope some of these insights were beneficial for you, seeing some of the charts. And again, we welcome you always into a Wells Fargo bank, but if it's not us, please see your local banker, see what they have to offer, and continue to keep you and help you through this challenging time. But all that you do is very much appreciated. Thank you all for this opportunity to share some thoughts and ideas with you.